know if something is good or bad until you've already spent your money on it. And then at that point, they win, you know? They got you in the seat. They made their money back at that point, you know?
That's why you gotta like boycott it to a certain extent. In my opinion, if they produce like 10 bad movies in a row, like, do you really feel like you should spend money on the 11th one?
Yeah.
Um,
It's actually really interesting how the numbers work now, since theaters are not, you know, that
Open.
popular anymore right now. You got companies switching from theatrical release to streaming services releasing. When HBO Max was like, all right, was it Paramount or Warner Bros. Were like, we're going to put all of our new releases, theatrical releases on HBO
Probably
Max.
Warner Bros. Because they own HBO.
Right.
Or Warner Media.
Warner Media. When Warner Media did that, I was like, yo, this is history right now. This is history. Yep. New movies are no longer coming out at the theater. You don't have to go to the theater. And I think about how that changes the culture of movie watching, right? Like when we were kids, our parents would be like, all right, this is an event. We're going to go to the movies today. We're going to get the popcorn. We're going to get the nachos. We're going to get the slushies, the drinks. We're going to sit down on these overpriced seats. And as a family, we're going to absorb this material. After, we're going to get in the car. We're going to talk about it. That's how I grew up watching movies.
Me too, dude.
Now, some kid whose parents owns HBO Max is going to watch the new movie by themselves. And now they got to talk to their parents like, oh, did you see that new movie? No, I wasn't there with you. So what do we do now? You know, like, it's so interesting how that is going to change and sort of like make a bigger distance between people, between parents, between families, between, you know, people who usually would go out to the movie. Think about dates.
Yeah, dude.
Think about dates. We can't go to the movie theater.
When you were a high schooler, the first thing you would always do when you were going to ask someone out is, hey, you want to go to the movies?
Right. And now it's like every time is Netflix and like every time. There's no like, where are we going to find that romance again? And I think that's so interesting that, you know, I mean, are people going to start going back to the drive-in? I'm not going back to no drive-in. I like AC in a bed. You know what I'm saying? That's my steez.
I've never been to a drive-in theater before.
No?
Never.
You've never been to a drive-in?
Never, ever.
Have you been to a drive-in, Alex?
Is that when you just drive and sit in your car and watch a movie?
Yeah.
No.
No?
It was like the 50s, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're not super popular now. I used to love the drive-in. My grandpa used to take me to the drive-in theater.
I feel like those would be good for dates because you have you have a private space, but also you have like the movies atmosphere.
Right. You know, I wouldn't know where that movie watching culture is gonna go. You know, I know that we're kind of diverging from the original topic, but I think it's just really interesting. How are we as people going to drum up these rules now for what movies bleed into culturally wise, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I think it also has to do with the accessibility to people. I think that's probably the biggest aspect of this all, because now everything is so accessible to everyone. I mean,
man.
It's obviously the information age, but a great example of this is the other day I was talking to somebody, and or one of my friends said, hey, do you ever use those NBA Reddit streams anymore that I sent you? He was like, no, I honestly got lazy. I just started paying for YouTube TV. I was like, whoa, you have a free outlet to watch your NBA games and you choose to do the easier, more accessible, more reliable thing, even if it comes to a cost.
Right. Accessibility, the need for your entertainment to come as easy as possible.
Yeah, in fact, it's really just quelling people's laziness at this point.
Yeah.
I think the fact that movie watching culture, theater going culture, in a way is dying is because people just have an easier way to find that content nowadays.
Yeah. One of these days, I haven't done it yet, but one of these days I'm going to go into a theater to just see how how desolate it is, how empty it is,
Right.
just to reminisce and, truly watch the death of an era firsthand. I wanna get the nachos. I wanna sit in that middle seat in the middle of the auditorium and watch a movie blast its soundtrack into my eardrums, feel the rumbles, because I don't know if I ever have kids one day and movie theaters don't exist anymore. How am I, that was one thing I knew that I probably would have. Movie theaters have been around since the 20s, When
was the first motion picture film created? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's like it's not the great, but it's a train coming and going, coming and leaving a station. And
1898, technically. It wasn't it wasn't a train.
It wasn't a train?
It was a dude riding a horse.
Ah. Well, that's not really and yes, you're right. But it was like the first movie, people were like, yeah, let's go see this. Because that's more of like an art piece. Yeah, a tech demo. But like the first movie was the train thing. Listen, I'm a film and television major. I know this. I know this.
Okay.
For fact. No, I'm kidding.
You sure about that? Or are you just telling me what they spoon feed you in your classes?
Exactly. I'm just regurgitating at this point.
You are part of the problem.
I'm a part of the problem.